Venturex Studios. It's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Man, happy Wednesday morning. Whoa. What is that?
I don't know. That's
It's
like
Wednesday.
saying
What is that? I'm still
I
asleep.
kind of feel like it's Friday.
Still asleep. What are you doing?
Wake up.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
I kind of
What is
I feel like
woo-hoo?
it's Friday.
I'm going to woo your who.
Is that a thing?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a thing.
So you can woo a who?
You can Google it.
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't Google it on a public network, but you can Google it. I'm just
okay,
saying.
it's not even Friday, but we are kind of in a Friday kind of mood, so we apologize ahead of time to our guest.
Why are you apologizing for me? Don't apologize for me.
And Dr. Good, yes. Hop on. I'm not. Was I apologizing to you?
No, you apologized for me.
I'm apologizing on behalf of myself.
Okay, there you go.
That if we're acting a little loopy, a little silly, for some reason it feels like Friday already.
It's Friday, as you would say.
Friday. Oh, that made you crazy. That was like nails on a
Yeah,
chalkboard.
and it still
I think the first
is.
time I said, Happy Friday, JP.
It still
and he
is,
was
by
like,
the way.
What did you just say? And please don't say it again.
Yeah. And you did. Over and over.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it's one of those things. I knew it bothered you.
It did.
So then I was like, oh, here's a trigger.
I know.
To send JP to a cry closet.
I know. And we're going to be pushing for time now. So come on.
All right, Dr. Rebecca Good of the Ask Dr. Be Good show.
Is she in a locker room?
Man,
Yeah, where are you?
Today's my last day of work, and my mind is not where it normally is on a Wednesday morning. I apologize.
Well, that's okay.
That's what we were like, is it Dr.
Well, I kept asking, are you in the Zoom call yet? And he's like, no, she's not in the Zoom call yet. So, and we've got a bit of a compressed schedule today.
And
so,
happy retirement, even though you've already got 10 other jobs you're doing.
Right?
I'm like,
Well, yeah,
that's retirement?
So, that's what retirement looks like in today's world, I think. I'm just going to be like the millennials that have 14 different income strands coming in.
Yes. And you have honey. You have honey to survive on for anything you need to sweeten with your bees.
There you go. Yes, I have honey and I'm growing vegetables. So
I love it.
But if I call you up and I ask to come over for dinner, will you let me come? I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
right?
Yes.
There you go.
Well, and hey, actually, one day we do want to have you on, not to talk Ask Dr. Be Good stuff. I want to hear more about the beekeeping because you're one of my multiple retired friends who that's their gig, that's their jam, pun intended right now, and they all love it.
Well, okay, and if people think that seems to be a stretch, it's really not a stretch. Those of us who are into health and wellness understand that we need to take care of the environment, right? And one of the foundational parts is making sure that our bees stay pollinating flowers and vegetables. And that right now, they're struggling. The bee population all over the world is struggling.
Right.
So, doing my part, it's a win-win. I get honey and I get to help bees, grow and accumulate in my part of town. So anyway, I'm happy to talk about it.
We love
Probably
it.
a little bit later when I've had more experience, maybe next fall.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. In the meantime, what can parents be looking for? I don't know if you saw the article that came out. Dallas ISD scores are much lower, surprise, surprise, than what they had hoped. And coming with that is accelerated learning. The expectations around how kids will recover by Texas Education Agency is getting pretty firm. So it used to be, there's 4 levels of path of what you can do when you take the STAR test. Did not meet, approaches, meets, and masters. It used to be that did not meet was the only category that sort of said failed. Now they're saying approaches, which is approaching grade level, will also be considered for accelerated learning a fail for the kid. So the numbers are really statewide, very low. And surprisingly enough, this is the first time that math has taken a hit. Normally, math scores are higher than reading scores for whatever reason. But we now know that teaching math virtually is much harder than teaching reading. So there are free math programs that PEA has made available to districts, free reading program softwares. And there is the expectation that any students who did not meet or who reached the approaches category on their STAR test will have to be in accelerated learning. It can start this summer or it can start in the fall, but it requires a student to be in a group of 3 to 1. The only way that a student can be in a group larger than 3 to 1 is if the parents of the whole group agree to a larger group. And so they must have 30 hours of this accelerated learning documented. So it's a very structured way of trying to get kids to accelerate their learning due to the loss of COVID, due to COVID. Now, this can also start in the fall, but that's going to be most of our kids. And by the way, if you had a child that did not take STAR, that child, any child who does not have a STAR score, must be in the accelerated learning pool. And they will get accelerated learning, even if the child is off the chart gifted. If the child did not take STAR because the parents don't believe in STAR, they will still be placed in the accelerated learning pool and must take the 30 hours of accelerated learning in a 3 to 1 environment.
Okay. Well, I see it. I don't think all parents know that. I think there's so many people just kind of second guessing things because of the pandemic, because of how everything's been a bit haphazard over this past year and a half. There's a lot of confusion out there.
Well, that's why I'm here, right?
And so hence the reason you exist and your show exists.
So if you have more questions about that, reach out to the Ask Dr. Be Good show on the Facebook page. I'm happy to answer more questions about that. We have lots of literature starting to come out. It's based on House Bill 4545, and I've sent you all an I think I sent you the FAQ on it, but I'd be happy to send it again so you can put it in the comments.
If you would please do that, we'll pop that into our remarks today, and definitely, when you're discussing this on your show, we want to know more about. Parents have got to know about this. This may be something that you need to do, mention several times on your show.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times parents get surprised by things, even though the school communicated it. So any way that we can over communicate the fact that, if you did not let your child take STAR because you have a problem with STAR, that's okay, but what the consequence is that your child will be put in the accelerated learning pool.
Well, great information as always. Ask Dr. Be Good show. We'll see your beautiful smiling face on Sunday morning at 8 a.m.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you all.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Good.
Thank you, Dr. Be Good. All right. Well, we've got the very smiling, handsome face.
I love. Very good.
Oh, did I do that right? Hold on. Let me try again.
You did.
The very handsome, smiling face. Oh, no, I didn't do it right.
That was good.
Oh, no, hold on. I didn't. I watched you again. The very handsome, smiling face.
Yes,
that's
perfect.
Lathan, there you go. Now you've been
introduced Kathy style.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
It's oogly googly. Let me tell you. Well, hey, religious freedom.
But it makes you feel good. What's wrong with making people feel good?
Maybe he doesn't want a bearded man with a hat with a bad haircut telling him he's a handsome man. Just saying. No, religious freedom back under fire, man.
Yep.
What is going on?
So we now, First Liberty Institute, represent Christians Engaged, which is a Texas-based group that encourages people of faith, Christians, to pray for their elected officials, to get involved in civic responsibility, teaches them how to apply their biblical worldview to policy issues. They applied for nonprofit status from the IRS. The IRS sat on their application for months and then just recently denied their application for nonprofit status in a rejection letter that really you have to read it to believe it. You can go to our website, firstliberty.org,
It's all
find
there.
Christians Engaged. You'll find a link to the
And
letter.
if I can real quick interrupt you before you get off of this, well, because we've got to give credit.
He doesn't have a choice.
I know.
Well, if you
Yeah, what am I going to say?
Lathan,
No.
Lathan's known me almost
I'm going
as
to
long
continue
as you've
talking.
known me, and Lathan's like, oh yeah, okay, it's Kathy's got to.
But I'm just saying, though, like
I'm just saying, anyways.
choice.
No, I love you, Lathan. You know that. But I've got to give shout out to Bunny Pounds, who founded Christians Engaged. And actually, when we were with USA Radio Network in Dallas, she came out to our studio, and we were her first radio interview of the day. You know, she did a whole smattering of them, but she started and she premiered on our radio show talking about Christians Engaged. We were super excited. A number of members from the crew follow her, watch her shows. Learn a lot about how to get Christians engaged. So big shout out to all the good work she's done.
Absolutely.
Some of her prayer get-togethers via Zoom or conference call, especially near the beginning of the pandemic, those were lifelines to me. And so God bless you, Bunny Pounds. We love you. And when I found out all this was going, I'm like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I was the same thing. Bunny came to meet with me about something completely different.
Right.
But she had just received this rejection letter, and she's like, can I show you this? And I read the letter, and I finished reading the letter, and I was like, you need to sign an engagement with letter with First Liberty today.
Yes. Yes.
And let us handle this appeal. And that's what we're doing. We're appealing through the IRS, through their internal appeals process, and give them the chance to get this right. And then if they don't, then we'll pursue litigation. But this letter, the reason they gave for rejecting her nonprofit status is that according to the IRS, and they put it in writing in this letter, the Bible and biblical teachings are affiliated with the Republican Party and Republican candidates, which somehow makes Christians Engaged too partisan to be a nonprofit group, even though they never, ever tell anyone who to vote for. They don't ever endorse a candidate or a party. They give people things to think about, teach them how to think about issues, and then expect them to arrive at their own decisions. So I read this letter, that the Bible and biblical teachings are affiliated with the Republican Party and Republican candidates. And my first reaction was, has anybody at the IRS told the president that?
No.
No. Supposedly the buck stops there, right? I mean, this is an executive level agency.
Right.
It's probably news to your self-described devout Catholic president who says his religious beliefs inform his political decisions, that basically the IRS said God's a Republican.
Pretty much.
Well,
Jesus is a Republican.
I
He
was gonna
was
say,
going door to door back in the day.
we count votes for Jesus. We count those.
I mean,
sorry.
that's why I say, like, this letter really has to be read to be believed. So go to firstliberty.org. You can find the case there.
Well, and also donate to firstliberty.org
Yes,
to help
yes,
continue
yes.
the fight so that God can remain a Republican.
Yeah.
How do they donate later to First Liberty?
This is a great announcement we're making today on the
Right.
show.
Yeah, my
Lathan's
goal-
like, disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly. My goal with this case is for us to win for Bunny,
Yes.
and Christians Engaged,
Yes.
and then, if at all possible, keep First Liberty's 501c3 status as well.
Well, yeah.
But if people are interested in supporting First Liberty, it's right at the top of the homepage of the website. There's a button that says donate. We appreciate the plug.
Yeah.
Because really, the danger in this is that once the IRS decides that there's really only one interpretation of Scripture, and it's theirs, their interpretation of it, then really any religious organization, a church, any faith-based nonprofit,
They all become
that
targets.
teaches anything to do with a biblical worldview or even discusses public policy could then be in danger of losing their nonprofit status.
Yeah.
So the IRS violated their own internal regulations and at least 3 clauses of the First Amendment, which is kind of impressive in a weird way.
Very impressive.
In an ironic, I mean,
I mean, that's doing something there.
When you can do that in a letter,
It's not every day.
simple letter.
Not every
Yeah.
day an agency finds a way to
mean-
violate their own rules in 3 of the 5 clauses of the First Amendment.
You gotta be trying for that. Was it somebody's first day on the job? And here's the thing, because had spoken with Bunny when she was first forming this organization. Again, JP and I just think the world of cover. We're really excited about being able to promote this organization. And it's one of those things I've been able to direct friends of mine who they're like, oh, Kathy, I'm just not into the political thing. I'll vote when, it's time to vote for president, in the general election. And, they're very devout in their Christian beliefs. So without telling them, I think you should vote for so-and-so, so-and-so,
Right.
so-and-so, and I think you should vote every election, even though I do try to gently remind them and encourage them, they've been able to go and understand, you know what, I have a responsibility for this.
Right.
There's never been, and I've never even seen anybody, and now I haven't been on all of their Zoom calls or all of their, social media feeds, but I don't even see the people who are watching, following, supporting Christians. I've never seen a candidate's name.
No, because they don't
Put
endorse
anywhere.
candidates. They don't endorse a political party. I mean, it's right there in the name. Christians engaged. What they want to do is encourage Christians to engage in their civic responsibility and to do so from their Christian worldview. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's about getting more people registered to vote, participating in elections, educating themselves so there are educated voters. There are probably dozens of other nonprofit groups with this identical mission, whose nonprofit status has been approved by the IRS.
Yep.
Well, not after this letter. They're going to start sending more of these letters out.
Exactly. That's
You're
the danger.
To become very busy.
Well,
very busy.
Well, and again, those who are new to the show, Lathan's a regular on our show, and he'll fill in for JP sometimes when JP's on the road. So, Lathan's been around a long time, dear long time, 25 or so year friends. We met in first grade.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But again, First Liberty doesn't just represent Christian organizations.
Correct.
Y'all represent people of the Jewish faith, of any faith. Again. And it's something, and I want you to say it. You say it best about how even if you're agnostic or an atheist, why it's so important to support y'all's efforts, which are not choosing one religion over another.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we represent people of all faiths anywhere in the country, so long as that client, whoever it is, individual or an organization like this one, are simply seeking to live according to what they believe in a way that's in keeping with the law and the Constitution, we will defend their right to do so. And we do it and like you said, even people who aren't particularly religious.
Yep.
What it boils down to is the right to live according to your own conscience. That's what, Thomas Jefferson referred to religious liberty as the right of conscience. And even if you're not religious, you probably have some set of ideals that you want to live your life by.
Right.
And that's what the First Amendment protects. And so, we have multiple Orthodox Jewish clients right now. We have represented Buddhists, Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, Falun Gong, Native American Sweat Lodge, which I honestly don't even know what you call that religion, but they got a right to practice it, so we defended it. So
bring in Congressman
and that's the principle that we defend. It's religious liberty. It's not any particular religion. In Bunny's case, it's Christianity.
Right.
In our Orthodox Jewish cases, it's Judaism.
Right.
But the principle applies to all of them. So if the IRS can get away with doing this to her, they can get away with doing it to anyone.
To you. Yep. He was. I think he's coming on closer to 8:34.
Well, I was just texting and said he was in the waiting room.
Oh. And he may come back. So again, this is one of those things that the way people can support y'all is by donating, by spreading the word. Just go on y'all's Facebook page, follow it, like it. Lots of great articles there. Tons of ways to get educated as far as religious freedom and just how extremely important. I mean, heck, that's why America's here.
Well,
exactly.
So Ann Guzman has posted a good quote here from a passage of Governor Ronald Reagan's January 5th, 1967 inaugural speech. Perhaps you and I have lived too long with this miracle to properly be appreciative. Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in world history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again.
That's exactly right. I had
thank you, Ann.
Published an op-ed on this case to Inside Sources, and I quoted Ronald Reagan's second inaugural as president, where he said, I realize we must be cautious about assuming that God is on our side, but I think it's okay to always check and see if we're on his side.
Oh, yes,
And-
yes.
So, and I quoted FDR and I quoted Bill Clinton because, again, for the IRS to decide that the Bible endorses one party over another is completely ludicrous. And so I used those quotes from FDR, from Clinton, and then from Reagan saying, I mean, even Reagan wouldn't, I mean, you can't find a more iconic figure of the Republican Party. And Reagan was cautious about saying, oh, yeah, it's on our side. You know, he said, no, it's up to us to check and make sure we're on his
side, right. And
Yep.
it always will be that
So
way.
true.
Yeah, I mean, it'll always be that way. It was so funny. Kathy and I were talking. Here comes Congressman Van Taylor. So Kathy and I are always talking. Hey, good morning.
Oh, there's Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Oh, we'll take Anna.
Anna's like, I got to go. I'm in the picture.
Anna's like,
Oh, my gosh.
no,
I'm in the
we want
picture.
Anna.
I gotta run. Oh, there's
We love
Congressman
you, Van,
Taylor.
but we want Anna. She's
Congressman Taylor,
cute.
take the chair. Quick, they can see me.
We want Anna, and we want Anna. We want her dog.
Oh, there
There
she
she
is.
is. We want you and your dog, Anna.
Now,
Van Taylor's like, oh, wow, welcome back to the show, Van.
Now, Van, I'm going to tell you, that hurts when Anna gets more love. You know.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. So, how's it going, man? We haven't talked to you in so long. How are things?
Been too long. Well, you know, in the trenches in Washington, D.C., can't wait to get home.
I bet. Well, and I've given you 3 big talking points this morning that have got to be the Achilles heel for you and other Republicans in the House. I mean,
Oh, God
pick
bless
one and
ya.
just start off. I mean, it's craziness up there.
Well, it was, you know, I will say something that just kind of blew all our minds. You know, last year the Democrats came up with this idea of defund the police. And, you know, they actually, and they didn't just talk about it, they did it.
Right.
In city after city after city, Democrat mayors, Democrat city councils, with the support of Democrat members of Congress and legislatures and governors said, yeah, we need to defund the police. And they've seen crime go up, and that's going so badly across this country that you watch the president's spokesperson a few days ago say, well, that was a Republican idea. They're the ones that want to defund the police. And it's just like, wow, that must be polling really badly.
You think it really is. I'll tell you what else is polling badly is the border. You know, they're saying that 80% of Americans believe that there is a crisis on our southern border. They believe 38% believe the president has handled it okay, and the rest of the country thinks that these two are buffoons. And I'm talking about our president and vice president and how they've handled the border crisis. I mean, what's the word in Congress? I mean, please tell me that we really don't believe El Paso is the Ellis Island of immigrants coming from Mexico to Texas.
Well, you know, we know what it takes to secure the border because the Biden administration stopped doing it. We had the border, you know, one of the best places it had been in decades last year under President Trump. He was building the wall. He had the Remain in Mexico policy. He was using Title 42. And those 3 things, we were in control. We were, you know, it was manageable. And on day one, the first day that he was president of the United States, January 20th, I mean, just he had been president for a few hours, he got rid of Title 42. He stopped building the border wall, and he ended the Remain in Mexico policy. And those 3 changes have unleashed humanitarian crisis on the U.S.-Mexican border. This is the third month in a row with over 170,000 encounters on the border. We had a 21-year high in May. We'll find out in a few weeks how bad it was in June. And it's not just the humanitarian crisis and the number of people that are being exploited, that are being trafficked, that are being extorted violently, sexual assaults on the border. It's also the criminals that are coming into our country that are committing crimes, and the drugs. And the drugs is killing record numbers of Americans are dying from drug overdoses, and it's a direct result of this administration's reckless disregard for border security. And it's not just a border state problem. It's not just a problem in McAllen, Texas, or in Brownsville, Texas, or Houston or Dallas, Texas. It's a problem in every town in America because those drugs are killing Americans across this country. Those criminals are committing crimes across this country. So the President of the United States has created this problem, and he did it willfully, and he knows what he has to do to go back. All he has to do is start building the wall, reintroduce the Remain in Mexico policy, go back to Title 42. These are very simple things. He knows what he did to screw it up, and it's very simple what to do to fix it.
So here's the question, Van. I can't speak for New Mexico. I can't speak for Arizona, right? And we hear those other states coming on national news saying we are in a humanitarian crisis. There's no doubt. So my question is, it seems as if Texas is taking a we will take care of our own stance. Is our congressional delegation working with the state in what Governor Abbott and the state is saying that they're going to do along our border?
Well, the Republicans are. So the Republican members of Congress from Texas, led by Jody Arrington, my colleague from Lubbock, Texas, did a press conference last week where we said, and where I said, Texas will do what Biden wants. And Texas is defending our border. Texas has a constitutional power. The Constitution of the United States allows the state of Texas to defend its borders. And we need to use that power because the federal government is clearly and intentionally not doing the job. They have made a decision. The Biden administration decided we're not going to secure the border. We're not going to do Remain in Mexico. We're not going to build the wall. And it is leading to, and it's making our communities less safe. There's a spike in crime across the country. Defund the police is part of it, and unsecure border is part of it. But there's no question that the Biden administration, and specifically, and the Democrats generally, have really failed the American people on this, and it's very upsetting. We have a real crisis on the U.S.-Mexican border. It is unfortunately because of bad policy, not south of the border, but at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So, Van, just let's go to the Cruz comments. First of all, Carla McCrone says, "Hi, Congressman Van Taylor."
Hi, Carla.
Hello, Carla.
Gail Meeks is in a unique position. Her in-laws live in Eagle Pass, and they live in Del Rio. And she says that her in-laws report back to her that there are high-speed chases there multiple times a day. She says when you go into the public, to go to the grocery store, go to the gas station, there are at least 20 different types of people. What do I mean by that? Children, adults, female, male, that are not here legally, just hanging out outside of these different public places that you go to try to take care of your family. Again, grocery stores, gas stations, that kind of thing. Drugs flowing over the border ridiculously, almost unchecked. What are some of the things, do you know, or are you aware of, what are some of the things that Governor Abbott and the state of Texas are going to do to defend the border? Are we going back to building a wall for Texas? Are we going to put state troopers out there? I know we had done that for a while, sending state troopers and game wardens down to the border. What are the things that we're going to do as a state?
Well, look, the Republican members of Congress from Texas support Governor Abbott and what he's doing. He needs to step up and defend the border, and it's only because the federal government is failing to do that. But Governor Abbott is working on building a wall. He's working on sending more law enforcement on the border, and I think we're going to have to we're forced to start apprehending people who are breaking the law. And this is unfortunate, and it doesn't need to be this way. I think that the key concept here is that the administration, President Biden, within 1 hour can fix the border. All he's got to do is start building the wall, restore the Remain in Mexico policy, restore Title 42. He's got in this catch and release system. I mean, he is literally working with the cartels, wittingly or unwittingly. He's helping them because when the cartels are just to kind of take it back to the beginning, cartels in Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, they're actually advertising on television that they can get you or your children to the United States. And they are trafficking human beings through those triangle countries up through Mexico, and they are money is owed to the cartels for live delivery to the Border Patrol. So literally handing the human being or the child to Border Patrol is when the cartels turn around and say, hey, you owe me my money, you need to pay me. I've successfully delivered your child, your cousin, your friend, your relative to Border Patrol. Because what Biden is doing is Border Patrol is taking the person, they're giving them 3 hots and a cot, a shower, they're giving them medical, they're giving them shots, right? They're giving them immunization. And then they're giving them a bus ticket or a plane ticket anywhere in America they want to go. So they're actually finishing the cartel's job, right? The cartel is recruiting them. They're bringing them up to the border. They're handing them to the Border Patrol, and Border Patrol is doing the last part of the job for the cartels. So Biden is helping the cartels make tens of millions of dollars to traffic human beings into our country. And I think that is morally wrong. I think we're creating a humanitarian crisis. We're also creating crime, and we're creating a drug problem in our cities. I mean, it's coming to us. Well, no matter where you live in this country, the drugs are coming to you, the crime is coming to you, and this scourge is coming to our country. We shouldn't be doing this to ourselves.
It's here. We've got kids in Collin County who are dying of fentanyl overdoses. I mean, it's in our backyard. It's here. If you don't think it's creeping into the other states, you're crazy. I mean, this is one of those, like, God, and I don't want to make light of this, but I'm thinking of the episode of Seinfeld. What was it, Bizarro World, where they had like their doppelgangers and this whole thing. And I'm like, it seems like we've got some kind of crazy alternate universe when you have another country with malicious intent advertising, go on over to America, we'll get you hooked up. And then we've got our people committing suicide, dying on the streets, having horrific, outcomes from the pandemic. My goodness, why can't we take care of the people who are standing on the street corner right now?
And so by allowing all this human trafficking to come through, you're also allowing the criminals and the drugs to come through.
Yes.
So we have actually the Border Patrol has actually captured more fentanyl so far this year than they did in all of last year combined. And so that level, the drug trafficking is reached, all-time highs, super serious, and the number of Americans that are dying from drug overdoses is at just a dizzying number. We're losing more Americans to drug overdoses every year in this country for the last 5 years than we lost in 12 years of combat in Vietnam. Jeez. So these are real numbers. I mean, understand, we're losing approximately twice as many Americans to drug overdoses as we're losing to Vietnam, plus car deaths in this country. Or so we're losing something like 72,000 a year, right? Whereas we lost 56,000 in Vietnam, or 45,000 to auto accidents, or 20,000 to gun violence. So this is by far the most serious health crisis we have in our country is drug overdoses. And it's coming through the southern border, and it's killing our youth.
So, Van, I've got a question. How do we? So, and let's continue going a little deeper. Peel the onion back on how we're dispersing. We're also putting these people up in hotels throughout the country. I've got friends that own a hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, right, which is kind of like Highland Park in Dallas, right? Their hotel is now completely capacitated and paid for by the federal government to house illegal immigrants that have come over, that are being flown throughout the country and bussed. We've got hotels in Odessa where I have a guy who owns an oil company out there. He went in to go get his normal hotel package, which he pays $80,000 a month for. And the hotel owner said, I don't have any room. He goes, I'll pay twice that. I'll give you $160,000. He said, you can't make the number. He said, it's the federal government. He said, I'm housing illegal immigrants in my hotel. I'm fully capacitated. I'm being paid $800,000 a month to house these people. How do we get this out?
Dollars, and they're actually going to help bolster the profits of the cartels. I mean, this kind of. I mean, you would almost think that the president is in cahoots with the cartels. I mean, I'm not saying that he is, But, when you look at it, it almost seems like, well, whose side are you on? Are you on the taxpayer side? Are you on the side of security for the American people? Or are you trying to help the cartels make a buck? It's almost like the cartel sent him a letter and said, hey, do the following to help us out. And he's doing it. I know he's not doing that. But this is an unacceptable level of lack of security, lack of stopping drugs, lack of securing our border, and the administration's lack of understanding of how bad it really is. Kamala Harris this week said, "quote unquote," we are making progress. Well, if you look at the numbers, we're actually it goes up every single month after month of increases. If that's making progress, I'd hate to see what going backwards looks like, because to me it looks like we're going backwards. Where I don't see any progress being made at all. And the other thing that's going on the border is you're seeing immigrations come from other countries. So the word is out, not just in the Northern Triangle, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. It's actually going out into Africa, into Asia, into South America, into Eastern Europe. If you want to come into the United States, come through the southern border. Come to the southern border, ask for asylum, you can stay. And so people are coming from literally around the world to come into the United States through the southern border. And that is why your numbers keep going up when logic says they should be going down.
Well, I think I want to go to Mexico and walk across, and I want to get a free airline ticket. I want to go to like New York or Florida or something. I want asylum. Se habla español, por favor. I mean, this is ridiculous. And again, how do we get the numbers on how much we're spending on putting people up in hotels? Because I want to know how do we get there.
They're repurposing billions of dollars that was supposed to go for COVID to pay for this. And I'll give you one other wrinkle that kind of takes it a different way. I was talking to a constituent yesterday who said, look, I'm trying to get a passport so I can leave the country, but I can't get a passport, but they're letting people who are coming in the country illegally. So foreigners can get in, but I can't get out. And so, it just goes to, how screwed up this policy is, or lack of policy. Because again, the policies were in place that secured the border. Yeah. The policies were there. They got disassembled. And so the president has done this. It seems to be, and at some point you have to wonder, is this intentional or are they really this incompetent? Either way, the answer is unacceptable, and the president needs to change. He needs to secure the border. And it's very simple. We know what to do because President Trump did it.
Now, I've got to secure your exit from this meeting in 6 minutes. And so
we don't want to get in trouble with Anna.
So I do want to jump out for just a few minutes, and I want to talk about this ridiculous infrastructure bill. Help me out. Help me out.
Yeah, help us out with this one.
Is it kind of like the COVID bill where COVID really only got like a third or an eighth of the money? I mean, what is this infrastructure bill? What's the goal here?
Well, look, it's to implement the Green New Deal. It's to make government bigger. It's to put our country further in debt. It's to raise taxes. The original package that came out of the White House, was the largest tax increase in the history of our country. Let me back up with this premise. In The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith in 1776 wrote the government should do four things: education, justice, security, and infrastructure. So it is a core function of government is building roads, building ports, building airports. It is an important thing for the future of our country to have good infrastructure. Certainly in Collin County, we are blessed to have great infrastructure built on the backs of hardworking Texans who pay tolls to drive on those roads and pay gas taxes to drive on those roads. Texas, I believe, has done it right. We build roads, and we use our gas tax money, but we've also taken other pieces of revenue that were going into the state government, specifically new vehicle sales tax and part of our severance tax revenue stream, and we've also placed those towards roads. And by doing that, we're building roads. And one of the reasons people come to Texas in general, and Collin County in specific, is they say, hey, the traffic was really bad where we were. When we were in LA, or when we were outside New York City, or when we were in Chicago, the traffic was terrible. They don't build roads there. But here in Collin County, they're building roads. In Texas, we're building roads. And so part of it is a commitment to build roads. And what's sad about the infrastructure plan by the White House is less than 10% of the money was actually going to build roads. And so you think, wow, for trillions of dollars in new taxes, I'm going to get literally, a single-digit percentages is going to be actually for roads. And so, to me, the federal government needs to get its act together. It needs to say roads are important. It's a core fundamental principle of government. And we're going to take specific dedicated pieces of revenue and say that is going to be extra for roads. Because the gas tax money, in my mind, is not enough. And Texas answered the mail on that. We say, gas tax money isn't enough. We're going to take other revenue streams, dedicate those to transportation, and continue to build the roads and the infrastructure to make sure that we have the opportunities to grow our community.
Yeah, and we just don't need a $2.2 trillion, $4.9 trillion infrastructure bill. We don't need it. Let the states do their job, and unbelievable.
Well, yeah, let the states do their job. And again, don't call something an infrastructure bill if at the end of the day it's just something that you're doing to placate AOC and her crew. And then I go back to something you said, and I'd like to put a bug in your ear next week if we can discuss inflation.
Not literally.
If we can discuss inflation, and that is if we're able to afford getting to the studio next week. I mean, it's going up that quickly, but you're right. It's either the current administration is incompetent or they literally hate America and everything it stands for. And either one, I'm like, all right, people, how do you like your vote now? Yeah. Check check A, B, or both. All of the above. That's sad.
Look,
Van, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, look, I definitely appreciate where you're coming from on that. I'll just say that you're seeing lots of fits and starts of restarting the economy and prices going up and down. So lumber prices were super high. I was heard this morning they've actually come down substantially. But you're seeing and the economy is not fully reopened. I think that's something that's important to remember. Most 70%, most kids haven't gone back to school full time yet. That's not going to happen until the fall.
Right.
Most of the major employers in Collin County that I talked to, they're between 0 and 30% in the office today. They're not talking about being 100% in the office until the fall, September 1st. And so there are all these different actions, whether it's going to the dry cleaners, whether it's filling up a tank of gas, whether it's eating in the restaurant next to the office where your office is. Those things aren't happening because people are staying at home. So there's still a lot. The reopening of the American economy has not fully taken place yet. That is a phased operation. Business travel has not really ramped back up. And actually, when I talk to my doctors here in Collin County, they tell me, hey, we're still at 80-90% of pre-COVID. And there's a lot of pent-up demand that's going to, at some point, people are going to start saying, hey, I need to make that doctor's appointment.
Right.
And it's the same reason that getting a passport takes forever right now, is that nobody got a passport renewed in 2020, and people have only decided the last 3 months to renew their passport. Now there's a huge backlog. So, and it's going to take a while to work that out. But another example, auto dealers, they're telling me, hey, in the summer, 18 months from right now, okay, so that is in December of 22, they're expecting to, quote, get back to normal by having the same number of supply of new vehicles on the lot that they normally have. And so it is a long time. I mean, we're 18 to 24 months for kind of getting back to restabilizing, because different pieces of the economy, we haven't even really tried to fully reopen yet. That we're still phasing, that's still happening, and there's a lot of backlogs that have been created, and some have been broken through, and some have yet to be created yet.
Well, Van, thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you. Keep
I know
up
it sounds
the good
like
fight.
I'm abruptly kicking you off, but if I don't, Anna won't set you back
Yeah, we
up.
want Anna to let you come back on next Wednesday.
Hey, have a great day.
We
Good
love
to see
you,
you
man.
again.
Thanks.
We'll see you back.
Thank you.
All right, Congressman
All
Van
right,
Taylor joining us, giving us his time this
and then I'll be
morning.
weekly from now on.
We should have asked him about Dill versus Sweet.
Yes, and that's why we're glad we still have Lathan here. So Lathan gets to take off his First Liberty hat. We've got their website and how to get in touch with Lathan on our social media right now. So now he gets to be the snarky parenthetical, which you can catch on our podcast
our
network.
Flagship network.
On the
JPK
flagship.
Broadcasting.
Hey, well, do
Bam!
this. Do
No, you
this.
gotta do, no, you got to do this.
the
Bam!
Oh, is that?
No, that's
a new thing.
That's dotting, right? No, not dotting. What do they call that? Dabbing.
Dabbing.
Bam!
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think
No,
dabbing's quite like that. Plus, you're doing it with who's the
No,
New
Emerald
Orleans
Lagasse.
guy? Yeah, thank you. Who did Bam like when he was cooking?
Yeah, that's good too.
You're doing.
Yeah, bam.
I think that's a new move.
That's my dad. Bam. It's better than
well,
jazz
okay. So
hands.
now
I mean,
the
help me
snarky
out here. I mean,
parenthetical.
no offense. I mean,
you can see
what is
every
this? I feel like I've
Friday.
got something going
no,
on here.
that's just
I
my
ate
hands
too
are
much
twisting.
sugar. I had a Jolt
Yeah.
Cola or something. I mean, come on, help me out here. I mean, Jesus.
Okay, what time can people see you on our network?
Comes out on Friday evenings between 5 and 6. We shoot for 5:30. It just kind of depends on how long it takes us to get everything recorded and
Gotcha.
uploaded and all that.
We
Well,
do
and it's a
apologize
fun
for
show.
the audio not coming over this last time.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of fun just to watch him do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Sorry about that. So there you go. Okay, so yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, Kathy was running the board, wasn't she?"
No, that'll
figure.
just be the lost episode of the snarky parenthetical.
Yeah, Kara says Emerald
Take on-
Lagasse. Bam!
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Dill versus
yeah.
Sweet. You know, the summer's upon us, right? We're starting to hear about people going out to barbecue because President Biden said we can now form in small groups, right?
Blah
Okay.
blah blah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, nothing like celebrating Independence Day by being told by your president what you can do.
in small groups.
Oh,
Yeah.
the irony.
We're gonna.
Yes, it's Happy Independence Day. You can do A, B, and C.
We have detained your freedom.
Yeah.
Small groups. Well, celebrate freedom. Okay, there you go. Sure,
But just like this.
yeah. But here we are. We're embarking upon the hot dog and the hamburger and
The outside
brat.
grill and
so here's the
whatnot.
big question: do you use dill relish or sweet relish?
It depends. It depends with me. I'm a big dill. I'm dill over sweet the
I had
majority
a
of the time,
feeling
9
you
times
were.
out of 10. Because I'm sour. Meh.
Okay, well,
You
or
heard
maybe
it.
you just like a big dill. I don't know what to.
Oh, and there it is, and it's not even a Friday show. Get it all out of your system before the new Miss Texas comes in studio on
Mallory,
Friday.
Oh no, I got big kisses from Mallory.
Oh,
So-
Mallory, I apologize. Miss Texas, we apologize ahead of time.
Dill or sweet?
If we're talking like the pickle itself, I probably prefer like a dill pickle. It kind of depends on what you're using it for. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a relish guy on hot dogs. I'm pretty basic. Like if it's a brat, just put some spice and mustard on it and I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of depends on what you're using the pickle for. Like if it's going on a burger, dill.
Okay.
Dill.
Yeah.
Dill
So
slice,
when
not
do you
relish.
use sweet?
I really like sweet pickles, and I would just eat them as a side
Just
by
as a snack
themselves,
or
like
something,
like
okay.
the sweet hot pickles.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
the sweet hot pickles, that's good stuff.
Oh, those are good.
The little sweet Gershwins or
And
gherkins?
it, like
Gherkins,
sweet, and you
yeah.
bite into
Not
it, it's sweet, and then all of a sudden you're
gherkins.
like, okay.
Yeah,
and you have to
exactly.
keep eating them, or else you realize how spicy the spicy
Yeah, it
part
kinda
is.
bites you back.
yeah.
So here's the thing, though. Does it really indicate what kind of man you are when you buy them, or what kind of man you want if you're a woman, right? Because if you buy a sweet pickle, it's only that big. But if you buy a dill pickle, it's that big. So what are we really talking about here? Is it like buying the car? When
What
you're
are you
50?
getting at? JP, what do you prefer?
I'm asking really straight questions here.
What do you prefer?
Does the dill pickle really represent more than just the pickle? I don't know.
I think this is a Freudian slip on JP's part.
I think JP is auditioning for a spot on your show.
Well, see, and Gail's with me. Gail says, "What are you using the pickle for?" I digress.
As a snack.
Wow, that's what they used. That's what they call boys now and girls that they like. They call them snacks.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Who
they
does
do. Look it up in
that?
the Urban Dictionary. Yes, am I
You know what?
Nathaniel? Thank you. See, his age,
See,
they
the
call them
Urban
snacks.
Dictionary,
Oh, she's a snack,
they're-
or he's a snack.
Okay,
wow.
so young people nowadays must think I'm some big kind of pervert because I do not know anything about the Urban Dictionary. And I guess over the last few years, like a couple of years ago on radio, I had a saying, and I will not say it,
Yeah.
that I would say all the time, and it was kind of an old fashioned, like I thought it was like a 60s or 70s kind of term. And then finally one day our producer said, Kathy, please look that up in the Urban Dictionary. And she like came over from voice from above, and I'm like, what? And the Urban Dictionary
So
kills me.
the young people think you're a pervert as opposed to us old people who just know you're a pervert.
Amen. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, good one.
So here we go,
Okay,
right?
so
And
there
I
you
do what I
go.
can.
Carla said sweet and tuna. And Carla, I agree with you. It depends on my mood. If I'm in the mood for sweet pickle
Yeah.
relish, I put it in tuna fish.
If not,
or I put dill.
sometimes I put a little bit of both. Just like in my tuna, I know my
see, you're-
tuna's
you're
jacked up.
confusing.
My tuna, I have salt-free lemon pepper. If I'm making it just for me,
Oh, this is funny.
little
Yeah,
bit
hear
of
this.
sweet relish, little bit of dill, little bit of Miracle Whip, little bit of olive oil mayonnaise. Whip that up. And on toasted bread, wheat bread.
That explains a lot of who you are.
Oh, condiments, I could go on. I could do a show 365 days a year just on condiments and what you dip things in. And then there's also, do you dip it or do you put it on top?
Yeah,
Like ketchup on French fries. Does anybody put it on top of their French fries? No, you're supposed to dip it.
Now, see, Coach says he likes the bread and butter pickles. He's a bread and butter pickle guy.
Oh, okay.
Those are good. I like those. Chad says, how about sweet and hot?
Yeah.
Little
That's
pickled
what-
deer
yeah.
pickles with habanero.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
Sweet
what
and hot.
Lathan was
Yeah,
talking
sweet
about.
hot. I like that as well. So here's the question. When you go to the
So if we're
grocery
going on the Freudian slip,
Yeah.
thing,
So back to the jacked
sweet
up.
and hot, kind of like I like my women.
kind of like I like my women,
Yeah.
sweet and hot.
Yeah.
And I bring the big deal. Okay.
Right.
We,
here
we,
we
we,
go.
we love you, Kim.
You took it a step too far.
Did I?
I was just trying to give my wife a compliment.
There you go.
JP had to wreck it.
He had to bam. I
And
crashed
I'm
the
all love
plane.
you, Kim, and then JP's
Yeah,
over there
I
being
crashed the
Friday
plane.
inappropriate.
I crashed the plane. So at a barbecue, the way I like to set it up, right, is I like my dill relish if I'm having a regular hot dog. You don't ruin a brat with relish.
No.
Oh no, the brat's a
brat's
standalone.
a whole
It's
different ball game.
And
right?
we do need to have a conversation with hot dogs versus brats. Totally different animals. You know what I mean? Not figuratively.
I think they probably use all of the same parts of animals.
Yes. But you know what I
Maybe
mean?
slightly
a
different
beast,
recipe.
A different no.
Chad says
But
we're going
those
to
are
get him in trouble.
two different things. Well, he took his first
Oh.
Liberty hat off.
Carla says, I'm a meal, not a snack. That's funny. There we go. All
That's the
Nathaniel?
quote of the week.
Now, are young people, can they be meals or are they just snacks and cougars are meals? Oh, they do. All right, Carla,
That's a
you're
thing?
hip. Carla is hip. All right, Carla's hip. There you go.
I feel like I'm in the 50s and everybody else is like George Jetson, you know?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
but at my table, when I garnish my barbecue table, I like to have peppers, sweet gherkins, because I do like a sweet pickle to eat like that,
Yep.
an olive mixture, because I love to have olives at my barbecue table as well,
I love olives all the time, anywhere, anyhow. I would eat them for breakfast.
a pimento cheese dip.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, way good. Way
And
good.
a dip, like what do you mean?
Well, you
Is it
take
a different consistency than the
You add a little bit of
sandwich to that?
Philadelphia cream cheese.
To the already pimento cheese that you
Yeah.
put on a sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you what you do is you whip that. So it's kind of a whipped pimento cheese.
Whipping.
Ooh.
And
Oh,
whip
yeah,
it and whip it. Yeah.
Devo.
Yeah. Well,
Tried to
that's not what I was
detect it.
thinking.
I used to think they were saying back to the jacket. It's not too late. I get every lyric wrong on every song. I'm the
You
person.
are my
When she goes off
are
on
my
it,
wife's
just
spirit
silent
animal.
and-
Oh,
Michael,
yeah.
Because I could do an entire
Whip it,
show
whip it,
on the
rub it,
song
really,
lyrics that
Kathy?
my wife gets wrong.
Lord.
Then you know what? I need to come as a
You
guest
two
on your
are
show
long
for that.
lost sisters.
I'm telling you, I grew up where they had the words on the album
Michelle
cover,
goes,
and I still
I
jacked
gained
them
10
up.
pounds on today's food conversation. So that would be garnished at my table. So again, I agree with Lathan. I like to eat a sweet pickle, not put sweet pickle relish on my hot
On
dog.
some, yeah.
I like dill pickle relish. I'm going to put it on a hot dog. That's what I put on a hot dog. On a hamburger, I like pickles. And so I use dill pickles on my hamburger.
When I have barbecue, I take, and especially if it's a really good, like a spicy barbecue sauce, I sit there and I'll get, of course, 9,000 condiments. I'm at the barbecue place and I've got a little side of pickles, a little side of barbecue sauce, and I'll just sit there and make a meal out of that. I dip my pickles into my barbecue sauce. Shocking.
Well,
I
and
know.
she's not lying because I've been with her to drive through in Chick-fil-A. And she ordered
It's a 10-minute ordeal.
an egg bowl, right? And I
Yeah.
think the person at the drive-thru thought I'd lost my mind and didn't believe me. I'm like, I need a strawberry jam, a grape jam. I need salsa. I
Yes.
need the honey mustard. I need a barbecue sauce.
I need the
sweet
Chick-fil-A
and sour
sauce.
I need a Chick-fil-A sauce.
I need the lime ranch
I need
avocado.
the lime ranch avocado
Yeah.
sauce. Literally at breakfast, I ordered
for,
all.
for a little bowl that's like 5
And
bites.
now we're sitting in the car before we go to this meeting to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm literally watching her put on her rim all of these condiments.
Put
and
just a little
dip here,
squirt
no,
of it.
Little dip here. No,
Yep.
no. Yeah, this is no joke. Now, Ann Guzman
and
says,
it's delicious, and I love it.
brats are boiled in
delicious.
peppers and onion and beer. then grilled and garnished with the peppers and onions.
Oh, now that's good.
That's a good day.
That's good.
You can't fight that one. That's
Yep.
a good day.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
Chad Green, cougars are a full dining experience. Well,
Okay, Mr. School Board, hello.
so and Carla McCrone says we make Velveeta cheese dip with beauty mixed in.
With what mixed in?
Beauty?
And let me know about that because
Am
I'm
I reading
the
that right?
queso queen.
I think I'm reading that right. Beauty, yeah, I'm reading it right.
Yeah, help us out. Like Beauty.
Yeah, I had to make sure I was spelling it right. My eyes were bald. Carla, you got some explaining
Help us
to do.
out on that. Yeah, send that recipe.
So then
You
I
got
think
some
it was.
explaining to
That's
do.
in the Beyond section of Bed Bath and Beyond.
yeah,
I'm here to buy some beauty, please.
it's
Then
right
you
over
use
here.
this
Right
remote.
over here.
Here you go.
Come back here with my friend. I'll
Oh, you
give you
need
a
to
remote.
you need to do a thing on Bed Bath and Beyond. What Beyond? You need to do
Now,
that on your show.
Coach Quigley says, hold before you do that,
Yeah.
because we're staying with food here. Hellman's just introduced jalapeno mayonnaise. Now that I can engage
Oh, I'll
in.
try because I love
That's interesting.
jalapeno mustard.
That I can engage in.
The
The Oreo cookie mayonnaise? Oh,
No,
hell
shut
no.
it down. Did
What
you
is
see?
that? Yes, I
Our
saw
friend
that.
Trevor posted that. Trevor, the only
Yeah.
clown I've sat next to, and I didn't die. He had that on Facebook, and him and his fiance were both like, they can't wait to try it. And I'm like, first of all, I'm only a fan of the inside of Oreos. I don't like the chocolate part.
Because you're a racist.
Yeah.
Amen.
Clearly.
I guess so. There you go. No, you know what? I'm the person. Oh God, my family's like, oh, just get your own box of Oreos. I'm the one that takes the Oreos, eats the inside out, puts the
puts them
chocolate
back
things back together
together?
and put them back. I've done that before. And then my family's like, okay, Mom, shut it down. Nope, shut it down. We know that you've been here.
That's like double dipping on steroids. That's like
well, but
to
it's
the nth
my
degree.
family.
Like-
and I also I knew they'd think it was kind of funny and kind of jacked up.
yeah.
Oh, it
Which
was,
explains me to
she
a
said it was
T.
brats. She
Oh.
goes, spell check messed her up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's no beauty on it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
no, that's a beautiful thing.
Maybe. I have to try it.
Right.
I have to try it before it's a beautiful thing. All right. So I've asked the crew, vote dill or sweet
Yes.
at your barbecue in the form of relish. Which one do you go with? I go with dill. I'm a
Yeah.
dill relish guy at my
Yep.
barbecue.
Yep. At the end of the day, yep. That's
Ann
it.
Guzman says both. So there you go.
There we go.
All right. So Friday, stay tuned for the next food conversation because I love having food
And
conversations,
we need
especially
to
during
involve
barbecue
Miss
season.
Texas in the next food conversation.
Hey, actually,
Like,
we
what's
need
her
to
favorite
call.
4th of July food?
We need to call my new favorite human being in the whole wide world.
Dexter.
No, not Dexter. Well, he's my
Well, you
second
love
favorite.
him.
Yeah, no, this would be
Oh, yes.
2012 Miss Texas.
Oh, JP fell in love. Now
I'm in
she's
love.
married.
If she ever gets unmarried, ooh, buddy,
Then
I'm,
watch
I'm
out.
single. I'm gonna
Yeah,
chase her
JP's
down.
somebody's gonna be writing up a restraining order somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
she is.
Yeah, listen
she's a
to this.
superhero. She has a superhero power. Are you ready for this? During the pandemic, she's a lawyer. During the pandemic, she became a charcuterie board master.
You know those are
Like
just grown
certified.
up. Those are just grown up Lunchables, right?
Yes,
You
and I
understand
love
that,
them.
right? Okay.
They
Yes.
yes, they are, but
Just
they're
frou-frou
divine.
Lunchables.
That's
Just
the-
frou-frou Lunchables.
But she's
and
a
that's the
master.
snarky parenthetical. That's the snarky parenthetical.
But she's a master at it. And I'm just a baby. I want my Lunchable too. Yeah, I'm telling you. They're
JP's going to
fun
take his
Lunchables.
fancy
Gail
Lunchable
says
into the
Dill,
cry
by the way.
closet.
Yeah, I don't have a cry closet. Don't have one of those. I do agree with you. That is kind of a cool way to look at it. It's a Lunchable for adults, but it's a cool Lunchable for an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
good stuff.
And somebody had something going on because those Lunchables have stood around time.
Oh my
so-
goodness!
exactly.
Oh,
So they got
yeah.
something going on.
I used to buy them for my kids.
All
yeah.
right. Judy Mark says, good morning from Canada. Carla
Hello,
McCrone
Miss
says,
Canada.
chop your brats up and cook them in the Velveeta cheese dip with Rotel major Ooh, now that.
Oh,
Now that I could
I
do.
may just be trying that over the 4th of July weekend.
I think I might drop a little jalapeno in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Just to give it a little fire. All right.
Dip it in a
hey,
little
thanks
mayo,
for joining us,
jalapeno
man.
mayo.
Thanks, Lathan, for coming out
We
and
love
being
you.
with
Yeah,
us.
you're
Yep,
the best,
anytime.
Lathan. We love
Fighting
you.
for religious freedom.
Yeah, keep us
Unbelievable.
updated. Keep us updated on Christians Engage.
Yep.
I'm just, I mean,
Yeah.
and you have to read it to believe it.
You do.
Yeah, you really
It's
do.
there.
Unbelievable.
It's
All right,
there.
you can see the letter at,
FirstLiberty.org.
where you can also donate money at, where at on the screen?
FirstLiberty.org.
But no, where out on the screen?
Big
Oh, on
old
the screen,
donate
right at the
button.
top, donate.
Right at the top,
Yeah.
donate. So that's what helps keep,
Keep religious
freedom
freedom alive.
here in
Yes.
this country.
Amen.
And so, yeah, you tell Danae Couch Low that JP is just waiting in the wings.
Wait, what?
She's my charcuterie hero.
Oh,
That's
just
her
Susan say her
superpower,
name.
yeah. Hey, all right. And hey, you know what? Tune in for Friday. We'll be talking about Independence Day.
Yes.
What that means, what it should mean to you, and your limited freedoms if you're not careful. It's gonna
And does
be
JP propose to the new Miss Texas?
Absolutely. If she becomes a charcuterie board master,
Then that's
shut it down.
Well, and also we'll be announcing that we did a live remote at Miss Texas on Friday. Had a blast, loved it. Thank you, Valerie and Susan and everybody with Miss Texas who are always so good to us. JP, you have these directors for the different parts of the state for the different competitions. JP wants to be the director who chooses Miss Barbecue,
Texas.
And then she goes to compete in the Miss Texas competition
Absolutely.
as Miss Barbecue. And so he's got a whole thing planned out. So ladies,
Be ready. Ms.
sign
Barbecue,
up.
Sign up.
Sign
I'm a
up.
rum on
Competition
pageant.
coming to a town in Texas near you.
But we're not using a rack of ribs as a scepter.
No, at first we were talking about that. That's just not so much.
I mean, that's not
or
happening.
as a crown.
No.
No.
That's a little Mel Gibson.
That's like Fred Flintstone.
No, it's a
Remember
little
when he
Mel
puts that
Gibson
on top of the thing at the drive-in? Doesn't
Yeah,
just
it's
like
in the
little
opening
car-
credits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Brontosaurus ribs and the whole thing tips
Wilma.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. It's more like Mel Gibson's
We're all over the
whatever
place
dome
today.
that was called.
God, it's a good thing Lathan likes
Well,
us.
good thing that Daniel started the music so we can get the hell out of
He's
here
like,
before we
please
ruin
shut
our
it
show.
down.
All right, everybody, have
Love
a
y'all.
blessed
Have a
day. We'll
blessed
talk at
day.
you on the flip side.